Hi, River's here. I want to tell you a funny story about my oldest daughter, Emily, and one of my sons, Winston. And I hope that you learn a few things from this story, but it's a good one. Let me read it to you. And it's entitled Asian Princess, or Anger Makes You Blind. We take food seriously in our home. My wife's a great cook. I have 7 children that love to eat good food. I count my blessings that none of my children are picky eaters. Each of my children is very opinionated about what kind of food they like to eat, and they are certainly not shy about voicing their opinions. Sunday dinner is one of the highlights of our week. We have tons of fun together eating Jean's food and telling and retelling family stories. One of our favorite things to do as a family is to go out and eat. Since our family is large, this is not something that we do on a regular basis. When we're in the mood for good Chinese food, we go to a local Chinese place, the Asian Star. It's a pretty classy joint. We all love their version of walnut shrimp. We always order at least 2 orders of walnut shrimp. In our home, the nickname princess is not a term of endearment. If one of my daughters is in a snitty, sort of demanding mood, I've been known to refer to her somewhat snarkily as princess, as in, what would princess like me to do? So let it be said, so let it be done. My oldest girl and child, Emily, is quite a gal. My wife and I are not exactly the zippiest people on the planet. I am, in fact, a pretty dull guy. Emily, on the other hand, is fun in a box. She would have fun peeling wallpaper with a spoon. She has an ebullient personality. She loves to travel. She's very witty, tells a great story, and she loves people. It's very hard not to have fun when she's around. She does have a dark side. She can be very feisty, especially when somebody messes with her food. A bunch of years passed. Emily brought some leftover walnut shrimp from the Asian Star. Unfortunately for her, she did not put her name on the leftover container that she placed in the fridge. It's an unwritten law in our family that leftover containers without names on them are sort of fair game for the resident Harris foraging bears, basically my sons. My son, Winston, was foraging in the fridge when he spied the unmarked leftover container. Imagine his delight when he pried open the clamshell container and beheld an ample serving of, drumroll please, walnut shrimp from the Asian Star. Winston had to make a quick executive decision. The container was not marked. He loved walnut shrimp. Should he scarf down the luscious walnut shrimp and take a calculated risk that the unmarked shrimp was Emily's and risk her wrath? Tough call. In the end, hunger trumped common sense. Emily was looking forward to a superb lunch the next day of leftover Asian walnut shrimp. When she opened the fridge in the morning to take it to work with her, it was nowhere to be seen. Gratefully, I'd already left for work when she discovered her walnut shrimp were missing in action. She was not pleased, to say the least. She quickly determined that the foraging bear in question was her brother, Winston. I'll spare you the gory details, but suffice it to say that she was steamed like a shrimp dumpling, and she read Winston the riot act over the phone. For Winston, The pain of the confrontation with his sister was greater than the pleasure of the walnut shrimp. Or maybe it wasn't. Allow me to fast forward a month or two. Winston had certainly not forgotten the tongue lashing that his sister had given him. He was looking for an opportunity to get back at her. He is a patient and cunning child. An opportunity presented itself. Once again, Emily had gone to the Asian Star with friends and brought back leftover walnut shrimp. This time, she used up about a half of a black magic marker on the leftover container to tell the world, and especially Winston, that this was her walnut shrimp. I believe there may have been some specific death threats and warnings for Winston on the container. She might have even used a fine point marker on each of the jumbo shrimp. After Emily hit the sack, Winston sprang into action. He hit the container under a bag of lettuce in the crisper, a mere few inches from where Emily had originally placed her beloved walnut shrimp. Early the next morning, Emily opened the fridge and discovered to her horror that her beloved and much anticipated walnut shrimp had been once again taken. She boiled over with rage. Steam was coming out of her ears and eyes like an old-fashioned steam engine of yore. I was upstairs in the master bedroom when I heard her blow. Whew. She was, of course, absolutely convinced that her brother, Winston, the aforementioned foraging bear, was the culprit. Conveniently, Winston had left for school 30 minutes before Emily had hastily jumped to judgment. It was quite a show she put in the kitchen. As the final cherry on the sundae, or as it were, the final candied walnut on the jumbo shrimp, she left a scorching, venomous telephone message for Winston, jam-packed with ominous threats and suggestions that he perform feats that are, I believe, anatomically impossible. Little did my petite 5'0" daughter realize that her beloved walnut shrimp were stationed under a bag of lettuce in the crisper, not less than 10 inches from where she initially put the walnut shrimp. I hate that when it happens. Eventually, the stolen shrimp were found. Emily felt a tad stupid for blowing sky high, and Winston savored the taste of sweet revenge, Cantonese style. He also enjoyed playing Emily's Szechuan hot telephone message for friends, family, and public transportation users. My sainted wife has a way of boiling things down to their very essence. At the end of the day, we found ourselves upstairs in our bedroom laughing about the walnut shrimp incident. We both found it highly ironic that the very object of Emily's affection, the luscious walnut shrimp, was a mere 10 inches from where she originally put it. My wife, a wise and wonderful woman, made a very pithy and astute observation. She said, "Anger makes you blind." There you have it. Anger causes temporary blindness. When you are angry, you do not see things as they really are. You don't see the walnut shrimp. I suppose prolonged anger can cause prolonged or even permanent blindness. My daughter now has a new nickname, the Asian Princess. The Harris family has yet another story to add to its growing collection of Sunday dinner stories we love to rehash. Remember, anger makes you blind, and don't be a princess. Care for some walnut shrimp?